Hi, I am Astrid, I am Wattle and Wool, and I'm coming to you from Latvia in Eastern Europe. This is the most precarious setup that I possibly could have come up with, and it's been a really long time since I've spoken to you, so I've totally forgotten about everything I've spoken to you about, and let's just do a mad show and tell today. I have a new setup, I've got a new lens, I dropped my camera, which is not the smartest thing to do, ever, and I have managed to have to put a new lens on, which is like super focused, so it's like, I'm actually sitting a lot further away from you than this is showing, and unfortunately I can't put it onto manual focus, it has to do autofocus for it to like exist, and so there might be a little bit of shifting and changing. I will do my best to be slow and to make it work, but yeah, I'm really sorry in advance. There may also be some clicking noises. I'm figuring that one out, and I'll see if I can tune that out in production, but we'll see. So, okay, for those of you who are new, I've had a couple of new, oh good lord. I've had a couple of new subscribers, and for those of you who forget because I haven't talked to you in a while, I am Astrid, I am from Australia, and I am currently living in Europe. Kind of living my big dreams, and we'll talk about that. Today, I'm not really going to talk to you too much about actual knitting. I'm just going to do an extreme show and tell and show you all the things that I've got and chat because it's been so long. So, how am I going is the first question, and it's the most complicated, unfortunately. You know what, I'm gonna get my knitting and then we chat and I'm gonna knit, so hold on. I'm currently knitting on something that I will talk to you about in a bit. So, how am I? How's it going? What's going on? All very good questions, all things I don't yet have answers to. I am doing pretty good. I have been living in Latvia now probably since May. I think May is like the time that I keep saying that I moved to. Okay, so I kind of overdid it. And when I say kinda, I mean like seriously, very much overdid it. I booked flights every 3 or 4 days. I was going to all these new places, and I've had some of the most amazing experiences. I think the last time that I spoke to you, had I gone to Spain? You know what? I should actually do my own fact checking and watch my own episodes, but whatever, let's just wing it. So let's just go through what I've done. I went from Australia to Singapore, spent a few days in Singapore, then I've just realized I've got more things to show you. Went to Singapore, bought some yarn in Singapore that I then turned into this top. This is the Himmel top by Yakamano, a name that I will put on the screen because I am forgetting. But it is this beautiful top. Let's see if I can make sure that I'm showing you everything. Yes, so you can see this amazing pleat detail. If I show you at the front as well, I just think it's so special. It's so beautiful. It's got a reverse stockinette at the bottom, which curls, and I don't like that, but that's okay. It's got a I-cord border at the top here, which curls. I don't like that, but that's okay. It is also slightly too big because I did not gauge swatch because I was way too keen, and I've had to put in a terrible looking stitch thingy on the side, which hasn't worked, and now I'm wondering if I need to put more stitches in. But I also love it. It is mostly acrylic. It's like acrylic and wool, and it's really breezy, really comfortable. I do wear this a lot with like pants. I found these amazing black pants, and I wore them with this top, and I looked really good, like really good. And then I bent over, and the pants split. So maybe I've been eating too much, but yeah. So that was a slight problem. But yeah, so I love this top. This is the Himmel top. And then I made another top using other yarn that I got from Singapore. And Singapore, I'm pretty sure this is Singapore yarn as well. It was like a linen and I love it. So I started with the green, and I cast on up here, kind of in the same style as the Himmeltalk, because I was really inspired by it. And I started increasing increases along the side over here. And it makes this really cool V shape. This is definitely the first draft. I do need to reknit it and do it again, but I actually love how it looks. There's a couple of mistakes with it though, so I don't really want to talk about it just yet because it does need to improve. But it's nice. So yeah, so I've made stuff. That one is really wearable. This one less so, but we'll get there. Anyway, so went to Singapore. Had a lovely time. Drank so much sweet lime juice. Oh my goodness, their lime juice, incredible. Like if you haven't been to an Asian country and haven't had the lime juice, you're missing out. And if someone had told me that before I went, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. And now that I've gone, I'm like, yeah, I missed out. It was delicious. So I went from Singapore to Germany, went to Frankfurt in Germany, and spent a couple of days there, had a lovely time. Then I went to Latvia and started staying here and have absolutely loved it. I've bought a few things. I think I have shown you some of like the yarns and stuff that I bought, including this giant egg that I wound my little hand winding, put my thumb in it, and then I just wound it around my thumb. And then, I know what I need to show you, it's over there. More getting up. And then I went to Spain and I bought some really beautiful yarn. So I don't know if I can show you all of it. I did buy this bag, which is like Valencia, and it has kind of some of the souvenir-y, touristy things on it. And I bought don't know what my other ones of this is, but I've got a red and another beige of this from We Are Knitters, and they had like an actual store in Madrid, and I was super excited to go to Madrid. Then I bought this is bamboo yarn. This is Casa Sol handmade in Spain, and this is bamboo. And I have two of these, and I would definitely love to make a summer top out of them. I also bought, that's where my lip balm is. This is why I need a podcast, so I can find just where I put my lip balm. Good lip balm. I also bought these two skeins with another two skeins. I can't remember if I've shown you or not. I won't go too much into them, except look at this. Like, just those colors. I'm sorry. You have to see why I picked this. Like, there's no way I could ignore it. This is Sots. It's either a soft C or a hard C, but I'm going to say it with a hard C because that's what sounds right to my English ear. Soc una troca, yarns to make you happy, and it is the kitten base La Devesa colorway. It's just so nice. So I bought these in Spain, and I love them. I also did a Spanish cooking course, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I wrote heaps of notes, as you can see, on the different things, just to make sure that I knew what I was doing and why, and so I could replicate them. So hopefully, although I actually haven't replicated them yet, but hopefully I can. So that was Spain, and I loved Valencia. I had such a wonderful time. Oh my goodness, my Airbnb host was lovely. Like, just a really sweet human, and we got along so well. I've been really lucky with all my Airbnb hosts, actually. They've genuinely been amazing people. And then I was in Palma de Mallorca, in Mallorca, yeah. And look, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed my time there, but it was very much, it's for partiers, and I'm just not a partier. Like, I don't like getting drunk for the sake of getting drunk. I don't like just going crazy. I'm so sorry for the ambient noise outside. I have to keep a window open, otherwise this place gets stifling hot in the afternoons. And so it is on a cobblestone street just outside, so you can hear all the cars. But anyway, so I really did love Mallorca, but I preferred more where I was staying outside of the city. So I think if I had to stay inside the city, I wouldn't have liked it as much. But where I was staying, it was on a cliffside and it was just beautiful. So I enjoyed that part of it. Then I came back, and what did I do? Did I go anywhere else? I've done like a couple of stopovers, not stopovers, like a couple of quick trips. I went to Lithuania, I went to Sweden. Turns out I was in Denmark for half a day. I don't count that though. I want to do that again properly. Yeah, so then, all right, are you ready for the first comedic error? Number 1, lip gloss. Okay, if you remember, I was going to Iceland for a knitting retreat, and I did, and I went, and I loved it, and I had such an amazing, amazing, amazing time. It was hilarious. I do not speak Icelandic. They do speak English, but to varying degrees. So there was a couple of, like, how do I say, sessions in the conference that were only in Icelandic, and so I went to them and was thoroughly confused the entire time. It was hilarious. Basically, they were just the sweetest people. They really were. And even now, I'm still talking to some of them. They are so kind and so lovely. They would make sure, they would go out of their way to make sure that I was looked after, that I knew what was going on, that I was included, that they would check in on me. They were just lovely. Some of them invited me to their homes. Just such a lovely time with a group of people that I would have never met otherwise. I have to admit, when I looked at the website and looked at it online and stuff, I did kind of think, okay, maybe this is more international, maybe more people from around the world will be there, but no, it was just a large group of Icelandic women and me, which was very funny. So, first hilarious moment, I was knitting on a jumper. And I'm still very proud of this jumper, and I will improve on it. It's called Saule, and that's because of these suns, Saule, which is sun in Latvian. And then, sorry, it starts off like this, and it's a bit, I think the shaping's a bit off, but it gets better. Because then I went into the next bit, which is these awesome oak leaves, which I have many good reasons, and I'll talk about it when I'm going to release it and blah, blah, blah. But I really got the shaping off. Like, I really got the shaping off. So, this is what it looks like overall. I've got the separation sleeves. And you think, that looks a bit weird, but surely it'll be fine, right? Let me put it on for you. I'm gonna wear a dress with extreme puff sleeves, so I can't get it on, but you'll get the idea. What? So the neck is both too big, too high, too weird. It needs to, realistically, I did leave it open for a cow neck turtleneck, so that's fine. But it means that the sleeve separation realistically needs to be at the end of the saule, not at where it is. So the saule needs to be so much lower, like still on my shoulders, and not wherever else I've put it. I just think I really miscalculated, like extremely miscalculated what was going on. And so even though it is stunning, and I've had many people actually say, like, I would definitely buy it, I would definitely make it, it was really hard. Plus, it is a 3-color stitch pattern, and I ended up trying to cut a little bit to like loosen it. That didn't work. I also did not check my tension the entire time, which is clearly a grave mistake on my end. So basically now it looks like this, and it's horrible, and I'm going to have to redo it, which is fine. I did really enjoy the process of making it so far. So yeah, so that's been my fatal error number 1, which is I find actually quite funny. So that's my cellular jumper. Anyway, I started that and was working, like talking to some incredible knitters, including Lena Holmer Samso, who now knows my name, by the way, and has my email address. Lena, if you watch this, email me back. I don't think she watches this, but that's okay. She was just so kind and so lovely, and also really, really sweet. And I just had a wonderful time meeting one of my knitting idols, and really learning more about knitting. I just loved it. I had such a great time. So, I think that's where I got up to in telling you. And then, you know what? Not even going to do it in order. I'm just going to tell you about my life, and then I'm going to show you the stuff that I got during my life. In Iceland, I absolutely loved it. I had such a wonderful time. I really got to know these really incredibly generous, kind, open women, and they were just so elegant and genteel. Like, they were really lovely, which was awesome. And then I arrived in Iceland. I drove up 3 hours to a place called Blundus. I drove on in my version, wrong side of the road. In Australia, we drive on the left. Everyone else seems to drive on the right. So I was driving on the right, which was terrifying. For me, I was pretty fine. Like, I got pretty good at it until I was driving at night and I saw a car coming towards me. And in my mind, they were going to hit me because they were on my side of the road, and I was freaking out before I remembered, oh yeah, I'm also on the wrong side of the road. It's okay. And we passed each other safely. It was okay. But yeah, so I survived that, which, and in a manual car as well. So I drove for the very first time manual on the wrong side of the road. I was pretty impressed with myself. So I did that. And then I need to increase here. And then I went back down to Reykjavik, which is obviously the capital of Iceland. And I then spent a few days down in there. I walked on a volcano. So I will input some pictures in here. In a volcano, I went to a geyser, I had like an amazing time. But because Iceland is so barren and volcanic and cold, not very much grows there. Not very much edible, I should say. And so there's a slight problem where I really, really, really like vegetables, and Iceland doesn't have very many that are an accessible price. And I am learning how to save and spend wisely out of necessity on this trip. So I really couldn't afford to eat a whole lot of fruit and vegetables in Iceland because it was so expensive. And honestly, like, the quality of what you could get was just not worth it. I think I spent $6 Australian, so maybe €4, on a very small, very withered red capsicum. And it was the first vegetable I ate in like 4 days. So I got quite sick, unfortunately. I've had stomach ulcers before, and this one was really bad. I ended up vomiting constantly. I went from Iceland straight to Austria in Vienna. The first day in Vienna, I walked for 3 kilometers to go and find salad and ordered so much salad because I was just missing vegetables so much. I really enjoyed the grandeur and the beauty of Vienna. However, I didn't actually enjoy my experience there. I found it quite dirty. I didn't love it. I loved Iceland. Iceland is magical. As an Australian, one thing I've really seen is that it doesn't matter where we build a road or where we build a house or where we build whatever, because the land is so flat and so like this all the time that you can do whatever you want, because it doesn't matter if you put it here or here or here, it's all the same. Whereas in Iceland, you have to incorporate nature. Like, the mountain isn't going to move for you, and it's way too expensive to build, like, to knock down a mountain. So you have to be thoughtful about how you build, and I just found that incredible, and something that makes common sense when you talk about it, but I'd never experienced before. And it was amazing. It really was, to look, to experience, to see everything. It was incredible, and I really loved it. So I walked in a volcano, I think I told you. Like, I just had such amazing experiences, and it was really clean. Like, the city is quite nice and fresh, whereas Vienna, it's like Paris, and Paris is not clean. And I really struggled with that. I also really struggle with cigarettes. I don't like cigarettes, and Vienna had the most of them that I've encountered, and I hated it. So yeah, I found that just overwhelming for me, and I didn't like it. Like I said, I loved the architecture, I loved the culture, I loved the history, I loved the art of Vienna. I didn't love the actual city, which a lot of people don't like because they find Vienna quite beautiful. I can see the value and I can see why it's beautiful, but I personally didn't enjoy it. Then I hired a car and I drove from Vienna to Slovenia. So I drove through the through the Austrian countryside, and it was beautiful. And that was just green and lush and vibrant. As I was driving from Austria into Slovenia and to a couple of places. So I went to Bled. I went to Lake Bled. I actually swam in the lake. I am terrified of deep water, like terribly terrified of deep water and water that I can't see the bottom. So I tread water really well for about half an hour in Lake Bled. But it was a beautiful experience. So as I went to the castle, I had a lovely time. As I was going around, it was delightful and beautiful. And again, oh my goodness, the mountains are just majestic. They're breathtaking. They really are. Slovenian mountains are steep, like crazy steep. And the roads are hairpin turns carved into the mountain, which I'm not used to at all. I did actually have an accident with the car where a truck was coming, like barreling down the mountain very quickly, and thought it should be in my lane. I moved to the right to enable it to take up half of my lane. Unfortunately, a mountain was also there, and so I moved my car into the mountain. I popped a tire and had a big scratch down the side of the car. I then spent the next 3 days in absolute panic of how much it would cost, and by the time I returned it, the guy went, "You've got insurance, who cares?" And so I kind of felt a bit silly for having many crises over it, but it was quite overwhelming. So yeah, Slovenian driving was terrifying, Slovenian mountain driving, but the actual Slovenia was gorgeous. I was in Slovenia for a lace festival, which I'd researched, and the way that it was made to sound on the website was like it would be more lacy than I found. It was not as lacy. It was nice, but there wasn't a lot of lace, which really confused me because that was kind of the point that I was there. And I had visions of myself buying lace, and I didn't. But I did buy some cool stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, while I was there, I also got really sick. So the stomach ulcer came with a vengeance, and I ended up basically unable to eat any food. I was eating salt crackers and water. I made pasta, like literally just pasta, with salt on it, and then I put a little bit of oil on top, and then that was about all I could handle. So I would love to do Slovenia again, especially as I know there's some really amazing food there, and I love food, and I feel like I didn't actually enjoy the experience of Slovenia enough because I was quite sick. But what I did do, I loved. And I think Slovenia is definitely like a little uncut gem or a hidden gem that people don't realize in Europe, and I think people should go to more because it was really beautiful. Then I came back to Latvia. Basically, I arrived in Latvia and had, I think, a week or a few days to recuperate and recover. And I had to go to the doctor for my ulcer. And then my family came. So my father and my two sisters, and we all came and we were doing Latvia together. So we spent about 10 days together. My family are all like me, and we are all loud and stubborn and just a little bit dramatic. And so it makes for some interesting dynamics where we all disagree with each other quite loudly and quite violently. Not violent as in fighting or anything, but like, you know, just we make our points known and heard. And so that was always interesting. But I think the older that we get, the more we value each other and the more we value family. So it was really nice to be together and to explore Latvia together and really like build these memories and cherish each other in that time. I really enjoyed that. So I bought a few things. There were some markets. I bought a few things. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think I might get into showing you. There was a few times where we went to a couple of concerts because the Latvian Song and Dance Festival was on again. I went to this in 2018. 2018 is when I actually decided to be a designer for the first time, and I designed my jumper. Here it is. I designed my very first jumper called Auseklis. This is available on Ravelry if you like it. It is a circular yoke, unisex really, sweater. It's finger engaged. It is beautiful. I love it. I really love this sweater, and it has a lot of meaning to me. I knit it literally in this house. I designed a lot of it, and yeah, it's quite important to me, quite meaningful. So yeah, this Song and Dance Festival, this experience really launched me, I guess. And it also, like in 2018, I would say it kind of changed my life. Where I was in 2018, I was working at a job where I wasn't very happy, and I was teaching some of the most incredible students and some of the most amazing kind souls that I've ever worked with, and I'm so grateful to this day for the experiences that I had. However, me and my direct manager, she's a wonderful educator, and she's just amazing. She knows so much, but I do think I had some growing up to do. I think I needed to mature, and I don't think I'd worked in a workplace environment like that before, and I don't think she was the right person to manage me. And I wasn't the right person to be subordinate to her. So we did clash, and we had quite a few disagreements. Unfortunately, it didn't end well, and I left that job because I was just so unhappy. But I still have a lot of respect and admiration for her, and I can only say good things about her. Unfortunately, she's just not made to manage me, but that's okay. Everyone's got their own personalities. So I was working at this job, and I was unhappy, and I was living really far away from my family, like an hour and a half away in Perth. And I just wasn't happy. And coming to Latvia for the first time, meeting my relatives, seeing their version of hospitality and kindness, it really opened my eyes to how to be a brighter person and how to be a happier, more hospitable person. And it's no secret, the salaries in Latvia are shockingly horrible, and I saw what my family could do and would do with very little, and it made me really reassess what I do with a lot more. And so, yeah, so I wanted to do more. I wanted to help more. And so part of all my designs, if they are sold, so all my beanies are free always, but if I sell a design, then part of the money goes towards a charity. And yeah, so I'm very passionate about giving back. So, and that's partly because of my experiences here in Latvia. So last time was very much meeting family for the first time. This one was more like building on those relationships that we'd already made and connecting and feeling, building on relationships that we had before. And it was amazing. It was so cool to be able to see how each of my sisters and I have different relationships with people, but all very valid and all very real and very strong. And the way that we connect with Latvia is, quite amazing. And I guess also how we've grown up, and how our views have changed over time. It's been really cool. There's been a couple of times where I had my needle, actually one time in particular, I had my needles taken off me, which I was a little bit grumpy about, because apparently they're a weapon, and I don't know why me without needles is more of a weapon, because I'm bored and fidgety. But so I've been doing a couple of like small little projects where I could, and sneaking in patterns projects where I could. And so the first thing to show you is a almost complete sock. So this sock, it is a sock tube. My friend Maddie of Mad About You, in Australia, she has, she's just amazing, and she has a sock winding machine, and you can send her skeins and obviously pay for it, and then she will wind them for you into sock tubes. So I made this one into a sock. You just cut into it, and then you do the toes and the heels and the cuff, which is here. And I need to now kitchen art them closed, and I've been really slack and lazy and haven't done that, but I need to. So that's been what I've been doing to kind of bide my time when I'm watching something and my hands get lazy or tired or fidgety. Yes. All right, let's start showing you stuff that I've got. So, I bought, completely not in order either way, I bought these earrings. Can you all see them? No, you cannot. Come on. Maybe if I just show you one. That's sort of there. All right, so that's how far away it's going to be. Hang on. Maybe if I zoom in. Oh, there we go. All right. So I bought these earrings, and they're from a market. Now, I normally wear gold, and so I bought these earrings from a market, and I absolutely love them. And then the other day I was walking around, and I went for a drink in the Australia bar. Woo, that's a lot of mouth. Oh well, you get the idea. And I saw a girl's necklace, and I wanted to get one, so I bought the charm today, actually, and it is 7 really important symbols in Latvian culture, I guess mythology. I was also given, all right, let's go back now. Whew, that was a lot. I was also given this necklace, this little acorn, as a gift from some of my family in Latvia, which I'm so grateful for. I don't actually wear silver, but I'm wearing it, and I love it. The meaning of it is more important than the color, so I don't care. And I have a Nemesis ring, which is a traditional ring in Latvian culture, and I've always worn it, so I kind of have like a gold side and a Latvian side now, I guess, a silver side. So that was just something cute. All right. I have some beautiful soft rose pink yarn. This is, I cannot remember what the makeup of it is. I will write it down on the screen. And I'm going to knit these into gloves or like mittens for my cousin to say thank you for letting me stay. And because I'm staying in her room right now, her old room. And yeah, this is just so soft. So I really need to get a move on actually and knit this up. But I'm currently working on something else. But that's what another project. I bought 3 skeins of this Cascade Yarns Eco Baby Llama Chunky in this beautiful chocolate color. It's almost black. I don't wear a lot of brown, but I do love this color. It is just so soft. Like the softest thing I think I've ever touched. Pretty much. Like it is just incredible. I have visions of this being like a little vest or some sort of, yeah, like a vesty kind of top, maybe a little bit textured, although nothing too much because you can't see it anyway. And this will be for winter, for when I actually need to deal with winter. Speaking of, it is Latvia at the moment. It is like 20 something degrees. It kind of goes from 20 to maybe 25. Although it's really humid and I hate humidity. So it gets like hot, but not hot in like a Australia way, hot in a wet, humid way. And then it usually rains. So it's kind of okay. But yeah, so I've been really enjoying the weather here. It's been quite delightful. And then there's randomly thunderstorms in the middle of the day and I love thunderstorms. So I've been really enjoying that. I am currently working on this and I actually, bit sad, I just looked at it and realized I have a dropped stitch right at the beginning. So obviously I can't fix it, but actually let me get my little stitch markery doodad and just catch it. Nope, this side. So this, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show you properly. This is the back of a cardigan, or it will be the back of a cardigan. Okay, so this is called an Alstress Cox. And it is knit flat color work. So it does make it a little bit tricky. And so basically I've got this really cool looking, I think it's amazing. So it's going to be a cardigan. Alstress Cox means tree. Kind of like Alstress. Hold on, let me translate that one. Alright, Google is failing me. All I've got is oyster tree, which is definitely not what it is. Basically, it's like a traditional Latvian symbol that comes up a lot. And it's really important in our culture. Oyster tree. But I have a new tattoo. And so I have a tattoo that goes from my skull down my back, pretty much to my bra line. And it's basically that tattoo, like that design. So I really wanted to make a cardigan with it so I could show off my tattoo even when I am clothed. Because that makes sense. Yeah, so I thought that would be really cool. So I am currently working on the front piece of it. This one will start here and it increases to the front. It is going to be a seamed cardigan, which normally I hate, but this is in Knit Crate. Some really big, thick, chunky. It's a chained yarn. So it's a really thick, lustrous effect. And I think it'll bloom and thicken up as well when you wash it, when you block it. But it is DK weight. So it's like amazing. It does mean that I don't think I'm going to write this up as an actual pattern. I might write it up as a recipe. Just so that people can they can copy the idea, but maybe not necessarily the actual pattern, because yeah, I don't know if I really. Number one, Knit Crate's gone out of business. Number two, I wouldn't recommend their brand. I stopped using it, and I don't recommend something that people like that I don't use. But I think the way that I'm designing it is pretty cool. So yeah, maybe I'll write it up as a recipe rather than a pattern per se. Okay. Next to me is a billion things that I will show you. I am currently, so while I'm in Latvia, I am studying the Latvian language, and next week I will have to say a speech in Latvian, all in Latvian, and I am terrified because if you can hear my accent, I'm quite Australian. Like, my accent is real bogan. I love my accent. I personally love it, but yeah, it's pretty thick, and even in another language, it's pretty thick. So I'm doing A1, which is like ultimate beginners, and I am learning. I've learned quite a few things already, which is pretty exciting. So I've learned to be, so like how to say I am, you are. Then I learned to have, which is super confusing because basically my is in Latvian is how you say I have. So to say I am 22 years old, why not? You say my is 22 years. Another really weird fact, Latvian, everything, same as like French, everything agrees in number and gender. That I'm fine with. I've actually done French. Lately, I've been trying to find a apartment in France. And so I've been doing Latvian lessons while communicating in French with a real estate person and thinking in English. So I'm like trilingual at this point, and it's driving me insane. So I've been, so even though like the number and gender bit is totally fine, Latvian numbers don't really make sense to me. So 1 is singular. You can have masculine or feminine, but it's singular. Totally fine. That's awesome. 2 to 9 can be masculine or feminine and plural. Awesome. 10 to 20, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, have no gender. They are genderless. So I could have 9 female chickens, and I would have to put like an E or an A at the end of that. Or I would have 9 male roosters, and I would have to put like an I or an S or something at the end of that. But then if I've got 10, it doesn't change the gender. Like, yeah, it just, that to me, that's weird. And 20, again, no gender. 21 has a gender, but is singular. So if I was Latvian and I said, I have 20 chickens, oops, an egg has hatched, now I have 21 chicken. Not chickens, chicken. So I could have 72 chickens, and then a fox comes and gets one of them, and now I've got 71 chicken. Like, what the heck? So that's just been blowing my mind. And then there's like certain verbs that you can use this with and other things you use that with, and then the endings. And I'm very used to, in French, the endings stay the same. So like you have to agree them, that's fine. So you put an E, an A, an S, whatever. Totally fine with it. In Latvian, everything changes all the time. So you're like halfway through a word and you realize it's not even about like if you've put the word in the right spot, it's also now what letter does the word end with, and then it changes the other letter, and it, like. So I bought some yarn to make me feel better. So this is hand spun in Latvia. It is Latvian hand spun. It is sheep's wool. And that's about the most information I could get off the very lovely woman who did not speak English, and I spoke very minimal Latvian too. So that was my pursuit today because my brain hurts. I have also put myself up for another 2-week course of Latvian language and culture, which is really exciting. Like, I'm definitely enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, I'm sooking, but I love it. But I've said, yes, I'll do the A2 level, which is higher. Like, so I'm doing A1 right now, then it's A2. And I am a third of the way through the A1 book. And I have to do all of that in like 3 days to be ready for A2. And I'm feeling the pressure. So that's going to be my tomorrow, doing Latvian. Whew. Latvian class, while also needing to study for my master's in Australian, in English, because that's also due in a week. So, yay. All right, other things that I've bought. When I was in Latvia in 2018, they had these markets, and they're called open air markets. They're like stalls that you would find in most touristy areas, like literally a white gazebo tent and then a table. Like if you've ever been to a stall ever, like a farmer's market, think of that. And when I went there in 2018, I found a mug and it had my name on it. Now, my name is Astrid. In Latvian, it's Astrida. I have never in my life met another Astrid. I've met Astrid, never met an Astrid with a double E sound. And in Australia, in the land of Sarahs and Hannahs, there is no name just written Astrid. So whenever people have like personalized pens or personalized keyrings, I would always get really jealous because I can't find that. So when I was in Latvia, I found a mug with my name on it and I was super excited. I brought it home. It was my special mug. I would drink from it every single night, and then it fell and shattered and I cried because it meant so much to me. So one of my goals when I came to Latvia was that I would buy another mug that would also mean a lot to me. Had a couple of very specific things that I needed. It needed to be handmade, it needed to be ceramic, and it needed to be pretty. And also big enough to fit like a decent amount of coffee in. So I went walking around many different markets and I couldn't find anything that matched my criteria. Not only could I not find the personalized mugs, which was devastating, but I couldn't find any nice mugs. I found some that were interesting looking, but a lot of them were made in a factory. They weren't actually handmade, which was a big criteria for me, until I stopped by this one store. And I found this mug. So it is handmade, hand glazed. It is just beautiful. You can feel the different textures going on. It is nice and big. It's definitely a coffee mug. It's not a soup cup because I have a weird thing about that. But it is beautiful and I love it. So this is one of my most special mugs. And I'm really excited to drink from it. I've been drinking coffee from it quite a lot lately. When I decided to come to Europe, my next goal after Europe is to return home to Australia, and that's when I will probably start to think about, home, a house, buying a house, family, kids, all of that. And that is a complex and very confusing situation as it is, but I knew that that would be like my next goal. And I've always wanted to have a house that is surrounded in things that I love, in beautiful things. They don't have to match, kind of even better if they don't, but they need to be things that are sentimental. Without going too much into it, the way that I grew up, I felt was a little bit unstable through lots of different scenarios, and no one's real fault, but it just happened that I personally struggled quite a bit and now have a little bit of a don't touch it, it's mine kind of complex. And so it's been amazing living in Europe, actually living in someone else's space, lots of Airbnbs, or living out of a suitcase where I can be a bit of a hoarder or a pack rat. And all of a sudden now I have to cope with not having very much around me. And that's been quite hard, actually. Harder than I thought. But as I'm traveling, I've often thought if I see something that I like and would want in my house, I will buy it. And I haven't seen too much. I've seen one other thing that I will show you in a bit. Or two other things. But I saw this and I loved it. So it is a fruit bowl. These are leaves. These are real leaves. I think they're rosemary and a couple of other things. And they're placed into the side. And then these beautiful little birds. And they've got golden beaks and then golden on the side of the bowl. And I just think it is stunning. And I so want this to be on my table. I actually have a table. Currently my mum is using it. But I've got a beautiful wooden table. It seats 4. And I can just see this on the table with apples and strawberries and whatever else. I would love to be able to grow my own food. I have a black thumb, but I want to learn. And so I can just imagine just having freshly picked something in here that family can eat. And that I would probably be terrified of having near my children because if they smash it, I will cry. But that's okay. But yeah, so I just think this is beautiful. So that is my first house purchase. So when I was in Slovenia, I found basically the like I said, the lace was less lace than I thought, but there was a beautiful open air market, like a farmer's market, and I saw this. So it is handmade wool art. I actually saw the lady felting, like needle felting, and I just thought this is amazing. I love acorns. My grandmother's maiden name is Uzonieks, which basically means little acorn or child of the acorn, or child of the oak. So this necklace is really important to me, and acorns, oak leaves are really important to me. So when I saw this, I thought it would be perfect. It is actually a chair cushion. And I don't want it to be that, so I'm probably going to use it as like a pot holder or something like that. You know, when you take out hot things from the oven and you need to put it on something cool. So I'll probably use this as that. But again, something I want in my house. I also found this. This is a hand woven tablecloth, tea towel, runner, thingy, thing. So, where does it? Yeah, it is. It's like a table runner. So it's 2-sided. It does open. I was wondering for a second there. I haven't opened this since I got it. This was again hand woven, and I just think the colors are beautiful. It is this really happy, vibrant orange and yellow and white color scheme. And I actually don't love a lot of orange, but I thought this was really happy and beautiful, again, to go with my wooden table. I really anticipate this working really nicely. So yeah, this is another little cherished memento that I think I would love to be able to have, and it will make me think of my travels. I haven't actually opened this bag since I got home, so I totally don't remember what I got. This is a body lotion of cold pressed oils, spring water, and pure essential oils. Almond, shea butter, and vanilla. It smells amazing, and I've just realized how much I need to moisturize because I get really dry skin. And so I'm really excited that I have this because I forgot about it. So now I'm going to... Well, I was meant to chuck it on my bed. I totally just threw it on the floor instead. But that's okay. I will pick it up and moisturize later. I also, because of my fascination with little spoons, I have a Bled Lake Castle Slovenia spoon, which is very important to me. These were really cool. I am currently, my master's I'm studying is teaching English as a second language, but I am obsessed with linguistics. I just find it fascinating, especially now that I'm learning multiple languages. Like learning Latvian is a challenge. Please, oh my God, it's so hard. But I'm really, really, really liking it. Like I'm really enjoying the challenge. I've always wanted to learn Farsi or Persian. People call it different names in different regions, and there's slight different dialects and differences. But basically, I found this book that is called Languages and People of Europe. by a Slovenian, and it's just fascinating. So I'm really, really, really excited to read this and go through it. And then I found this, and this was so cool. So this was at the Castle of Bled. I don't remember what the actual castle is called, which is a terrible thing because it's not the Castle of Bled, it's something else. And there was this guy, and he was blah 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 English. None of the other languages are helping me out. It's just my brain fogs. He was doing like a typewriter kind of thing, but not a typewriter, a printing press, like an old school printing press. So I could choose a page and I could choose a design, and then I could put my name on it. So I did. And this is my name on a Slovenian printing press page. So basically, it is this really cool paper that is handmade paper, and it's got leaves in it. I chose this one because it's got the leaf down the bottom, and I just think that's beautiful. I chose this image of the Bled looking over the lake, Lake Bled, and you've got the castle up the top, just there. Then we put in my name. And because my name Astrid is a double E sound, it actually has a dot over the I. So a dash over the I. And so he had to go back in specially and put it in, but now it says Astrid, not Astrid. And then he put down a couple of other like cool things like the symbol and the wax print. So these are really amazing symbols that are like souvenirs that I bought, and I'm really, really, really happy with them. Yeah, it made me really happy. I love, obviously as knitters, I'm sure you're the same. I absolutely love handcrafts, and I love seeing things that people are good at. I love celebrating what people are good at. And it just made me really happy to do that in a different format. Those are lots of the like things that I got. I also bought this tartan hand woven again shawl. It's a like square shawl. This I bought in a Latvian market, and it is again hand woven. It is kid silk and mohair, and it's really deliciously soft. I bought this one, which is more of a stole, I think you call them, like a long rectangular scarf. Again, for in winter. This is hand woven, again, kid silk and mohair, and it's really delicious, and I love the pure white of it. I don't know how long it'll stay like this, but I love it. Okay, random things that I've got. Knit Pro needle tips, because when I was in Austria or Denmark, maybe for half a day, I needed needle tips. I think it was Denmark, so I bought these. Fun fact. All right. When I was in, I think these were Copenhagen. So again, Denmark. Yes, Denmark. I found 3 skeins of these, and I've instantly started to cast them on, and then realized that I didn't like the pattern, and then kind of stopped it and started working on this cardigan. But this is going to be like a little, again, a summer top, more of a vest style, something over a top that I would wear. But they are 43% Falkland Merino, 43% Gotland wool, and 14% mohair. So it's a slight softness, but there's still, like, I would say more rustic. They are 125 meters per 100 grams, and they're really nice. So the stitch, you can barely even see it because I've ripped it back so many times, but the stitch definition is really strong, which I really like. While I was there, I found these. These are Curl Girl Blues Kid Silk Mohair, and they just looked fun. They are 410 meters, over 50 grams, and I would love to be able to make maybe like a summer blouse that you would wear over like a singlet, but something really big and puffy and breezy and floaty. So something like that out of these, maybe. Random needles, random swatches. Okay. All right, now we're getting onto the Iceland purchases from when I was obviously in Iceland. I got these little stitch markers and I loved the colors, but they came with, I think, like a butterfly, and I didn't like the butterfly. So I asked if we could swap it out. Come on. There we go. I asked if we could swap it out for a little cat. It's a little black cat, because I have a black cat and I love my black cat. So I'm not helping at all. Yes, there you go. So I have these little stitch markers and I haven't even taken them off because I wanted to show you them, but now I can. I also got these ones, which are actually rather important to me. And here we go. So these kind of all go together. These 3 yarns, these are all undyed. These are Icelandic Leader Sheep wool. And Icelandic Leader Sheep are kind of like this famous breed. And I have all this information in a little booklet that was given to me. So let's see if I can find some quick info. It is believed with certainty that no sheep breed possessing the behavioural pattern of the leader sheep can be found outside of Iceland. They have a very good sense of direction. The leader sheep leads a herd of sheep and controls it. It will sense danger and lead the herd away. And it has really soft and warm fleece. And so I got the leader sheep wool to make some mittens.